Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's video I will be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Orchid, as well as BNT, also known as Bancor Network Token. And we are less than 1 minute on the daily charts here. This is also closing up for a Friday. And Wall Street's wrapped up all their stuff, so we'd be going into the weekend. How this is going to move is going to be quite interesting here, and I'm going to be keeping our eyes on this little chart here on the side as we move into the new daily candle position and just seeing how the movements typically happen. There we go, 4 o'clock. As you guys can see right on the dot there, $48,750. It is just booming. Look at that. Nice little push going on. Each of these, just so you guys know, is worth at least $100,000. And this is starting off on a pretty good sign. We had a bit of a rough week going on here, and I'm sure a lot of people are trying to look for that light at the end of the tunnel. And going into the weekend, leading into next Monday, hopefully we're going to start flipping the tables on this stuff and starting to see some gains once more. So a couple key things that I want to talk with you guys about today. We're going to take a look here at the news before we actually go into the chart analysis on this stuff. But real quick, I do want to say, guys, I want to thank you all for all the support you guys have been doing. It looks like we hit, I think, 3,000 subscribers on this channel. Woo! Oh yeah, baby. Working our way up, trying to push our way now to 4,000 subs. Every sub is appreciated. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the thumbs up like button as well. Really helps out the video and the search and discovery, guys. And I know it takes almost no time at all for you to do. So if you guys can, let's try and get this video to at least 100 likes. Click on the bell icon as well so that you know whenever we have a new video that's going to be going up. I did talk a little bit yesterday about Decentraland Mana, and I called it, man. I said that it was looking a little bit too overextended, and lo and behold, it ended up coming down. So I'm doing some good call outs on these videos, and we're going to keep our eyes peeled for those gems, what's moving, what ranges to keep an eye on, all that kinds of stuff. I'm not a financial advisor. Let me go ahead and clarify that. But I think in the future, I might actually try and register for that. But I'm not right now. All right, so a little bit of movement going up. Cool. We're going to keep our eyes on that, like I said, but let's go ahead and go to the news. I'm on Twitter if you guys want to check me out at Atlas Official TV. My name's in the bottom left-hand side there. But the news here, this is probably the biggest news that we have for the day. There's not much news in general. Microstrategy has purchased an additional 205 Bitcoins for $10 million in cash at an average price of $48,888 per Bitcoin. As of March 5th, 2021, today, we hodl 91,064 Bitcoins acquired for $2.196 billion at an average price of $24,119 per Bitcoin. Wow. I mean, they just recently bought more, and then they slipped in right there, and they just bought another $10 million more. These guys are insane. They are really going ham on these purchases of Bitcoin, and they're doing absolutely killer. I can't believe it. Now, some other news. This is in regards to Crypto Quant, okay? Or more specifically, this is in regards to F2 Pool. If you guys haven't seen my other videos, you don't know about this, you might be wondering, well, what's been going on with Bitcoin? How come the price of Bitcoin has been dropping? Like, I hear all these other news and things about, like, oh, all this Bitcoin is being moved off of the exchanges. It's going to cold storage wallets, and everything looks like it's on the verge of popping and doing really well, right? Well, why hasn't it been popping? It's looking like it's doing it now. We're at $49,000 so far for the new day. It's looking pretty good. Well, it's largely believed that the culprit, the one that we can blame, is F2 Pool. You guys can clearly see here in the charts the amount of outflow that they have, meaning like they've been mining it, but they haven't really been trying to sell it, right? Has been pretty stagnant here. 137 Bitcoin in a day, 169, 213, kind of goes up a little bit there. There's like 427, then drops down again. And then right around here, January 13th, they're like, let's kick it up. January 14th, let's do a lot more. 2,871, 6,872 goes up. And then we saw days like this, 14,298 Bitcoin, 14,223 Bitcoin. Just ridiculous numbers that these guys are doing, and they're doing it every single day. Every single day, right? So a very fishy business been going on here. I didn't mean to do that. All right, so I just refreshed it, and now it officially shows what happened for March 5th. It only was showing for March 4th, and then Now I confirm this, it's 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is the midnight on the UTC kind of side, right? So just so you guys know, if you use this chart and you want it to be most up to date for the newest day, then you could just refresh it right after 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or the 12 UTC I was talking about, right? Or 0 UTC. I don't know. I'm horrible with the UTC stuff. So for March 5th, the data there is actually a decline, right? So that's looking good. I don't know how it's going to be tomorrow, right? But this was this right here was, where is it? Outflows, 3,422 Bitcoin. Still quite a bit in general, but it looks like it's depreciating some. And I don't know if this is going to progressively move back down to these kinds of levels that we were seeing before, which would be great. I don't know how they can manage to keep this up. And one theory that's going out there, I don't know if you guys have heard this too, but the theory that's going out there is that they're selling it, dumping the price, and then they're shorting it, and they're making a profit on both ends, and then they're rebuying back into the market. But I haven't seen any confirmation on this. I just heard supposedly that they have more in their reserves. So if you guys happen to have a resource on that, please let me know in the comments. Please let everybody know in the comments. But right now, it looks like these are the guys. You want to blame anyone why Bitcoin's not going to the moon with everything, it's basically this company. Goldman Sachs did an interview recently, or a survey, sorry, and they're asking people about Bitcoin. This is what they came out with their data. This is cool. Goldman Sachs said that 22% of its clients expect the price of Bitcoin to hit at least $100,000 in the next 12 months, according to a survey from the investment bank seen by Coinbase. Meanwhile, 54% of the respondents predict the price of the cryptocurrency will hover at $40,000 to $100,000 in the same period. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts and opinions on this? I think that we very well could pass $75,000 here, not only this year, but I think more in the short term. And I think pushing up towards the $100,000 and testing it before the end of the year is definitely possible. Breaking above $100,000, I don't know about that, man. I mean, I think there's got to be a lot of more good news that comes our way. We tend to keep getting these slaps in the face with things like the inflation and bond stuff, and stock market being dropped down, the tech industry being hit, and all this other crap, man. Just keeps coming one thing after another. The SEC saying some remark. I mean, Janet Yellen, she's not exactly like a friendly person in the world of crypto. She kind of reminds me of Ursula. Is it just me? No? Ursula from The Little Mermaid? Like the villain in this case in regards to Bitcoin. Anyways, so let's actually take a look now at the charts here. We didn't have much in the news side. You guys can see hit above $49,000 once again, kind of dipping back down. We've been kind of hanging out around this $49,000 range. I have a feeling it's going to keep rolling up, but let's see what we actually got going on the charts here. Okay, so looking at Bitcoin right now, we are above the 21 EMA, which is still a good sign, still bullish sign. And we have multiple days. We're above 3 days of closure above that. So that's looking good. Yesterday was quite a bit of a dip. We actually saw a dip that took us all the way back down to $46,212. Came back up, closed above into a green zone, right? And didn't even go into the red zone. It actually closed out on the green. So that was very good. Now on the new daily position right here, we're testing first off this level of resistance at $49,042. We just broke above that, but kind of dwindling right here, just trying to figure out what it's going to do next, right? Who's going to make the next move? If it does make the next move, the next major level of resistance we're going to see is at $50,000. Ah, yeah, let's push up to $50,000, baby. We get above $50,000, guys. We're moving up once again into some higher zones here. We're going to see it at $52,680. Another level zone here at $57,613 or so. And then the all-time high was at $58,409. So I think we are priming the situation quite well, getting ready to go on full-on parabolic, dude. Some of these major institutions like Microstrategy, they're buying up these Bitcoin, and they're holding it. And they're finding out ways, and he made it publicly known, too, how these different companies can go in and acquire Bitcoin. And he had a big summit. Remember? What happened to that? Okay? He talked to a lot of companies. How many of these companies do you think are just going to have listened to the info and not end up having done anything? Maybe it's a lot. But some of these companies are going to execute on it, and they're going to go in and they're going to purchase more Bitcoin. So even though you see F2 Pool dumping a bunch of this Bitcoin, it can only happen for so long. They can only have so much to dump. They put it out there to sell. Who do you think's buying it? The major institutions and us, right? They buy it up. Now F2 Pool is going to have a harder time to kind of get back what they had and what other people had, because the institution is like, yoink, yoink, yoink. We're not selling. Yoink, yoink. Thanks. You're giving it to us for a discount because people are dropping it down a little bit. Yoink, 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 yoink. It is what it is, man. So things are looking really interesting in that regards. Now, if it decides that it wants to go down, that's a different story, okay? Because anything is possible. Not a financial advisor, guys, but if it decides it wants to go down, we're taking a look at this. Right now, we got some support being established on the 21 EMA that is at $48,170. That's not just on the 21 EMA. We also have the bottom of this wick, which is on March 3rd. So there's a little bit of an association there. So that's looking pretty good. That's a bit of a higher position than what we've been seeing as of recently for these lows. So even if it dips down, we're probably going to end up having to bounce around that zone. More than likely. Now, if it goes down even further, we do have on the Fibonacci sequence here at $47,000, and another level down below that would pull it down to $46,263. Because we have crazy instances, I'll go ahead and go over this scenario too. $40,000, $40,656 first off for the Fibonacci, and then $40,000 from a psychological standpoint. I don't think that that's going to happen, but anything is technically possible. And what is also looking like a possible formation right here is a very subtle head and shoulders type pattern. Where did it go? And I had it here just a minute ago. Was it right here? Yeah, kind of like right here. So that's like a shoulder right there. There's the head. There's looking like that's potentially the other shoulder, right? So shoulders, there's the bit of the head, and it could potentially be forming more or less off of like this direction, and then this would be where the breakout zone occurs, and that would be in reference to this kind of a distance, which I know this looks absolutely horrible, but that would take us up to like around almost $60,000, which would make sense because that's the next major zone that we obviously want to test, right? So that's it's not a great formation of a head and shoulders pattern. Let me go and just make that perfectly clear for you guys right now, but we could be starting to see a reversal trend position showing. The volume has also been a little bit lower here, and looks like we could see some big kick up going on. I think ideally over the weekend, Monday itself, if the stock market, especially tech, start to recover, which they took a pretty big hit this week, I have a feeling that it's going to pop back and it's going to be a really good week, or at least a very good Monday. But I don't know for sure. We could have some more news and stuff come out, but right now things are looking really good. Now let's go ahead and go take a look at what's going on with Ethereum. Looking at Ethereum, it is still below the 21 EMA. My God, man. Is it just building like a little fort and it's going to live there the rest of its life, or what's going on? So red day yesterday, not great. It did recover back though. It had quite a bit of a plunge here. Right now on the daily green, holding above 1,500, which is still good at $1,542. If it decides that it wants to go up further, we do see the 21 EMA at $1,600. A further continuation up above that is going to be at $1,700. Then we have $1,750, and then a peak point at basically the $2,000 range, roughly $1,973, and then $2,000, and then the all-time high at $2,040. We get above that, we're in price discovery zone. Okay, so we got each of these levels we have to test. We break it, and then we look at the next level. That's how this works, right? That's the name of the game. If this decides that it wants to drop down, right here we do have some substantiated support. That's going to be at about $1,428, and off of that, why do I have that there actually? Oh, is that going? That's from the previous all-time high. That's from years ago. Okay. So yeah, that's not necessarily that strong anymore. I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of that at this point. Sure, people want to try and stay above the previous all-time high, but it's not a really strong indicator. That's just what we had as the previous point. Okay, anyways, so we got $1,400 right here as a level of support. Further down below that is going to be at $1,380. A significant drop, guys. We'd be looking at $1,284. Technicals are showing as a neutral, which I believe yesterday was as a sell, so that should be a little bit better there. The volume is still pretty low. Once again, we should see an uptick in volume here, hopefully sometime soon. And the RSI is starting to climb up just slightly, but it's still below the average median zone. Next up, let's go take a look at what's going on with Orchid. Looking at Orchid, still also below the 21 EMA, still below 48 cents right here. It did have a red daily candle as of yesterday. So right now, levels that we need to keep an eye on as it goes up, going to be testing at 48 cents. A further level up above that is at 50 cents. Another level up above that we're going to see is going to be at 58, then at 68, and then realistically 79. Then it's open waters pushing back towards that $1 zone. If this drops down, we have support being established at 45 cents. A further level drop down below that is going to be at 44 cents. And a further significant drop will be down at 35.5 cents. All right, technical raters are suggesting neutral. Volume has been very lackluster. A lot of the market's been kind of the quiet side of things. And right now, the RSI is also slightly below the median average zone. And then the last thing that we're going to be taking a look at is the BNT, Bancor Network, and seeing how that is going. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row of green candles. So overall looking pretty darn good in that respects, right? And then we actually zoom out here for the Coinbase side, at least. This is only being identified back to December 15th. So overall, the trend for this is looking quite strong. Not a lot of historical data as far as, at least from the Coinbase side goes, right? Maybe I need to check this out on one of these other ones. Let's try with Binance. All right, there we go. So with the Binance side, you guys can see it's got a lot more historical data. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use this as a reference point right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Fibonacci sequence. I always forget where this is. Why do I always forget where this stuff is? This is looking at it from a very big picture. And then I'm going to set up one more that's actually a little bit more realistic of a time frame. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and remove the shorter time frame one. So just based on where we're at right now on the big picture scale, guys, this is actually breaking above the 0.5 on the Fibonacci sequence. A further continuation up, next major level of testing, we have some being supported right here at $8.06, right? So that's going to be one zone that you're going to need to try and break above in the short term. Then above that is going to be on the Fibonacci here at $9. Breaking above $9, of course, you got 10 from a psychological standpoint, and then it's trying to get back to its previous all-time highs. That's like $11.35, and then all the way up here, we got $14.50. And that wasn't right out the bat. It didn't just drop. It actually rose up real high, this big pump and dump kind of thing, and came down. And that happened right around January 2018, which is when Bitcoin made its big pop up too, right? So this is showing some signs of trying to push up there. So the big goal right now is looking at about $14.50, right? Now, let's go ahead and see what happens if this goes down based on the scale metric system. With where it is currently, if it decides to go down, we're going to see some support here at $5.53. Significant drop would be down to $3.46, okay? This is looking at on the daily, but we're like really zoomed out. So I'm actually, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this now, and we're going to go into the Fibonacci and look at it from a little bit more of a point of view like this, okay? So from this point of view, and a little bit more of a short-term perspective of especially the pullback zones, we would be looking at it pulling back down to around $5.97. We have the 21 EMA right here. That's at $5.45. And then we have another level at $4.71. And then a real big drop would pull it down to $3.83. The suggestion is that this is overextended. The RSI is a little bit on the overbought side. Technical radars are still suggesting buy, but I do want to remind you guys how many days in a row we are at right now of green candles. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row of green candles for this. On the next daily candle, it is in the upper quadrant with this, so it still has the potential to continue on. Just remember, you can only go green for so many days before you decide to get some profits and sell off on this stuff. So be cautious in that regard. Still has plenty of room to grow on the upside on a historical trend side. And like I said, we're in the upper quadrant here in the Fibonacci sequence and those next levels to try and test. So I wouldn't be surprised if it taps one of these levels and then has a pullback. I'm not guaranteeing that's what's going to happen. But if you guys were just going to be trying to take profits sometime soon, unless they got other news that comes out, or it ends up being a big pump and dump type situation, I just don't see this realistically having a big gain without having some sell-off going on, because we already had a pretty big transition going up here over the last couple days, and volume hasn't been anything super great to write home about. It's been up a little bit more than comparison to these days, but still not like anything like what we saw back on February 18th, right? So yeah, keep some caution with this. Bullish above the 21 EMA, bullish on the upper quadrant on the Fibonacci, getting close to this other level of resistance right here. More indicators suggesting on the bullish side, but my gut is telling me that you got to be cautious with this because of how many days green that it had in a row, guys. You can set up a stop loss here, so if it dips down just a little bit, you don't take much of a loss, because if this thing starts to plunge, I have a feeling that it could plunge pretty heavy and basically correcting a lot of these profits that you were taking. As you guys can see, it can have some pretty deep red days here. All right, that's going to go ahead and be it for this episode. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit the thumbs up like button as well. Let's try and get this video to at least 100 likes. Click on the bell icon so you know whenever we have a new video. Drop a comment down below. Tell me what you guys thought about all this stuff. I got referral links in the description for different stuff like Coinbase if you guys want to get started with that. I got one also for BlockFi, guys. Referral bonuses on all this stuff as of the time of me making this video. I doubt they're going to remove this, but you never know in the future. And also for Webull and Robinhood. So if you guys want to get some free stock stuff, there's those to go take a look at. I do cover stocks in other videos like AMC and GME. I'll have another video of that going up here today on the channel as well. I already recorded that one. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next episode.